Hey, Richard, what are you looking at?
Hey, look at these pictures.
Wow.
What do you think happened?
I don't know. Look at all that damage. What, a plane fly through the roof?
Nope. Now look at this. The neighbor's house got damaged.
So are we talking some sort of natural disaster? Was there a storm?
Nope. Look at this. Here's the back of the house right here. The whole back got blown right out.
Not an earthquake, not a tornado.
Nope.
Natural gas.
No, it wasn't natural gas.
Really?
It was an electric water heater.
Come on.
It exploded, totaled this house, blew out through the roof, ended up 3 blocks away.
That's crazy. How did that happen?
Anytime you heat up water, it needs a place to expand, whether or not the water heater is electric or gas. Now, in normal operation, you've got a cold pipe coming in here, a hot pipe coming there.
Yep.
That water expands, and it needs a place to go. Sometimes it's enough just to open the hot water faucet, right? But often, you have to go back through the cold water line. And you actually use that cold water line as a place for expansion right out through the water main.
And that's acceptable.
Right. But when you have houses that have a pressure reducing valve,
Yep.
it's going to step the pressure down and make it lower coming into the house.
So this is a valve that goes at the main, and it basically becomes a one-way.
That's right. It doesn't let it go this way. Now you have no more place to expand. And if
Right.
that be the case, you might have to add something like this. Some sort of expansion tank that actually acts like a shock absorber for the pressure that might build up.
So I've seen a lot of water heaters, but not a lot of expansion tanks on them. So why aren't more of these things exploding?
Well, there's important safety devices on any standard water heater. One of them is a thermostat. Now, on electric water heater, you'll have 2 thermostats, one at the top and one at the bottom, that senses the temperature in the tank and will bring on these electric elements that stick into the water.
Okay.
Now, on a gas water heater, the thermostat is right here with a probe that goes into the tank, and that'll bring on the gas burner underneath.
So if the thermostat fails and this just keeps calling for heat, are we going to get a tank that explodes?
No, because there's one more very important safety device, and that's a temperature and pressure relief valve. Now, you'll see these mounted in a couple of places. One is at the top of the tank in this case, but sometimes they come out through the side right here.
Yeah, but I've seen this pipe on a lot of these hot water heaters.
They should always have this pipe, too. You want to make sure you run it down to a safe place so if it discharged, it wouldn't be hurting somebody.
So how does this valve work?
Well, what it's got is 2 sensing points. One is for the temperature. This probe right here sits in the water. And if it got to be 210 degrees or higher, it will drive this piston up to lift the seat right here. See the seat?
Yeah.
And make the water discharge. Actually, it's going to be water and it's going to be steam at that point.
So that's temperature and the pressure relief?
The pressure is actually the strength of that spring. If it got to be 150 pounds of pressure or more, it would actually force that seat up against that spring and discharge it out through the pipe.
But wait a second. If every water heater has one of these valves on it, why would any of them ever blow up?
Well, it's a mechanical device and it can fail sooner or later. You know, you've got a tank filled with water that's filled with minerals and calcium, and it can actually get up inside the TMP. Look at this. See all the buildup right there?
Yeah.
What you don't want is that thing to be sealed so shut that it doesn't relieve when you need it to.
It just freezes up, literally.
That's right. So the manufacturer in the fine print right here on that, can you read that? In the fine print, will ask you to once a year lift this lever to keep that discharge clear. Nobody does it, and there's a chance that if you do, you're going to continue to get drip out through that overflow.
Well, now I was going to ask you about that because you do see the drips coming out of these things. People put little buckets underneath
That's
there.
right. Well, what happens is it invites what I consider the unthinkable, where somebody comes along and sees the drip, 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 and says, oh, I'll just put a plug there. And when you do that, you fundamentally turn that water heater into a bomb.
Because this valve effectively can't do its thing.
That's right. That's really what happened in the house I showed you in the pictures.
That's unfortunate.
Now, there's an interesting innovation here, though. This is a tamper-proof device for a pressure relief valve. You can put into the discharge, and when you put those threads in, you can never get them out again, so it's locked in. And now, if anybody came along and put a plug in here, and you felt any more than 10 pounds pressure built up here in back pressure, the device would just blow apart, so it acts as a safety.
Well, that's actually very clever.
It actually is.
But, you know, not to say that anyone should ever plug their water heater, but they do drip from time to time.
That's right.
So what's the homeowner supposed to do if they see a drip?
If they see a drip, it's time for service. It's time to call a plumber and get it replaced. And if they see a plug in the discharge of a T&P, turn the water heater off, call the plumber, get out of the house. It's unsafe.
Well, after seeing those pictures,
Absolutely.
I have no doubt. All right, great information. Thank you.